Yogi Surajnath, Guru Buddhanath ji, Gorakh Sabadi, the sayings of Gorakh Nath. Sabadi number 35. अवधू निद्रा कै घरी काल जंजाल, आहार कै घरी चोर, मैथुन कै घरी जुरा garāsai, अरध-उरध लय जोर. Translation by Yogi Surajnath and Bhagwan Nath. Avadhū, in the house of sleep is the snare of time. In the house of food there is a thief. In the house of sex old age overcomes you. Your strength goes here and there. कुछ स्पष्टीकरण, some explanation in both Hindi and English. शब्द बिल्कुल साफ है, सादी है, सरल है. शब्द अवधो निद्रा कै घरी काल जंजाल. काल टाइम, काल में होना और विचार में होना, प्रत्यक्ष अप्रत्यक्ष, चेतन अचेतनता, कॉन्शियसली अनकॉन्शियसली काल में होना है, भूत भविष्य में होना है. चंत चिंतन में होना है. चंत चिंतन अचंत ही उपजे, चंता सब जुग क्षीण. उस तरह से अवधू निद्रा कै घरी काल जंजाल. इन द हाउस ऑफ स्लीप देयर इज द स्नेयर ऑफ टाइम. अवधू स्लीप, नींद, निद्रा दो प्रकार से. एक फिजिकल स्लीप, शारीरिक निद्रा जो आवश्यक है, उसमें ध्यान चेतनता प्रवेश कर सकती है. जब हम जागते हुए ध्यान करते हैं कुशलता के साथ, बारीकी के साथ, तो वो ध्यान नींद में अपने आप प्रवेशित होता है. और दूसरी मानसिक स्लीप, यानी कि विचार में होना, काल में होना, तो वो काल जंजाल है. आहार खाए घरी चोर. अब ज़्यादा भोजन करेंगे हम तो ध्यान ज्ञान नहीं हो सकता, आलस होगा, शरीर एक प्रकार से जड़ होगा, चेतन नहीं रहेगा. मैथुन कै घरी जुरा garāsai. इन द हाउस ऑफ सेक्स संभोग, काम भोग, यदि उसी में उलझ रहे हैं तो वो आपकी शक्ति को खींच लेता है. सम्यक संभोग ठीक है, उससे जीवन गति है, मगर उसी के पीछे लगे रहना ये शक्ति का अति क्षय है, सम्यक इस्तेमाल नहीं. सो अरध-उरध लय जोर. एनर्जी, स्ट्रेंथ गोज हेयर एंड देयर. विचार में, काल में हमारी गति चलती है. सम एक्सप्लेनेशन इन इंग्लिश. Avadhu, in the house of sleep is the snare of time. Sleep is, we can see that sleep is of two kinds here. Physical sleep, that is needed, that is not any problem. When we meditate while being wakeful and go to sleep, meditation naturally enters into sleep and continues. But there is another kind of sleep, to be in thought and time. Being in thought and time is also, we can say it, as sleep, not being awake, not being wakeful to the presence of the mind. So being in thought is also a sleep, conscious or unconscious, and that is but the moment of time, to be in time, in thought and time, in past and future. So, and in the house of food there is a thief. Excessive food, mind, body becomes dull, crude. It cannot remain so much alert. So the thief, the time takes over naturally. In the house of sex, old age overcomes you. Sex, to involve in sex excessively, normal sex, through which the moment of life, reproduction goes on. So okay, no problem. But to be thinking about sex every time, sex. So it absorbs energy of this body mind psychological energy. It absorbs. To be obsessed by any thought for sex, for food, for money, for property, for this, for greed, any kind of greed, it's absorbing so much of our energy, and in that way you become old. You waste your energy and become old. You dies like that. In desire, in greed, in sex, in anger, in fear, and all the related things. Money, this and that kind of greed. Power, position, this and that. We see these politicians, these so many Babas also we can see where are they going? They are forgetting to say, do meditate these days. They are saying shamelessly, thoughtlessly, do bhakti, do bhajan. Gorakh Nath denies bhakti, devotion and bhajan to have some ideal and be behind that ideal psychologically. Gorakh Nath throws away that things. Bhakti, mukti, dautakar mari. Throw away both bhakti and mukti. Ye naye jnani bhagat ghane biguta. These strange scholars and bhaktas are much found. So to be obsessed by anything, to have an ideal and to be behind that ideal in the name of spirituality, religion, psychologically being behind some ideal is nonsense, is not sensible, is not right thing. And in all this, in thought and time, your strength goes and here and there is wasted. So the next sabdi, agli sabdi number 36. अति आहार यंद्री बल काrai nāsai ज्ञान maithuna cita dharai byāpai nyandrā jhampai kāla tāke hiradai sadā jañjālã. Translation by Bhagwan Nath and Yogi Suraj Nath. Too much food excites the genitals, disturbs awareness, and the mind turns to sex. Sleep takes over. Time grabs you and your heart is always in trouble. Sadi sabdi, simple sabdi. Let us explain it a bit in both Hindi and English. हिंदी और अंग्रेजी में कुछ स्पष्टीकरण. ज़्यादा भोजन करेंगे, अति आहार यंद्री बल करें. नेचुरल हम इसका अनुभव करते हैं. हम ज़्यादा ओवर खाएंगे तो हमारे काम भोग है, एक्सेसिव होगा, ज़्यादा होगा, वो चैन से रहने ही नहीं देगा. वही विचार आते रहेंगे बार बार. नासै ज्ञान मैथुन चित धरे. ज्ञान का सत्यानाश होता है, नासै कमज़ोर होता है, और मैथुन चित धरे मन चित्त जो है मैथुन सेक्स के प्रति, काम भोग के प्रति लगा रहता है, भागता है, क्योंकि वो जोर करता है. अति आहार से इंद्रियां जोर करती हैं. व्यापे नंद्रा झंपे काल. नींद भी ओवर पावर होती है, काल पकड़ लेता है, ग्रैब कर लेता है, ओवर पावर होता है. ताके हिरदय सदा जंजाल. और चित्त का अवधून ना होने से वो संखार, वो भाव पौना वेदना बढ़ते ही जाते हैं और भोग के लिए आते हैं. दुख गामिता चलती है, दुख ही दुख चलता है. ताके हृदय सदा जंजाल. उसकी जैन में सदा जंजाल है, झंझट है, दुख गामिता है. A bit in English explanation. Simple sabdi though. Too much food excites the genitals. With overeat, our genital sex organs get empowered, disturbs awareness, and mind turns to sex. Every time we can be thinking about sex, about bhog, about wanting. Sleep takes this about in this food, in this matter of food, physical food and thought food, the food of thought also. So to turn to thinking deliberately about sex, about something, about somebody, so that food also disturbs mind and it excites the genitals. That food the food of thought, the food, material food, what we eat, what we drink, that also takes over, disturbs too much food, excites the genitals. Physical food or psychological thought food excites the genitals, disturbs awareness, and mind turns to sex. Sleep takes over. Naturally, this mind doesn't cannot remain alert and awake, wakeful, so it turns to dullness, to sleep. Sleep takes over and time grabs you. Sleep is time, physical. To be in thought and time while awake or in sleep, it is all a kind of sleep. So sleep takes over, thought and time takes over. Time grabs you, binds you, and your heart is always in trouble. So you being in time and all these mental impressions coming up, boiling these feelings, sensations, thoughts, emotions, and multiplying. So that we are every time in trouble, not emptying of the sorrow, not emptying of the time. kāla dvana jab jnana prakasha badanta gorakh soi. What is the ending of time? What is the feeling in increasing of time matter? These mental impressions, feelings, sensations, thoughts, chatterings, increasing, filling in. And what is their ending? Understanding the law of nature, mind, desire and thought, and presence of the mind per se. So getting these clear in these two things, chanta and achanta, thinking and non-thought. Thinking is a little part of the brain mind which works on the basis of the past, and non-thought is all this achanta, non-thought is all this body, rest of all this brain and body, it is non-thought. So when this dominates, this thinking, desire, which implies desire dominates, then time and becoming goes on. And when this rest of the body, this understands its place and limit, thought, thinking, chanta understands its place and limit, and the rest of the body is awake of itself, sensations, feelings. That is what our awareness is, bhava pavana. So with skill and diligence, when we are aware of this movement of life through us in the form of feeling, sensations, bhava pavana, when life is awake, aware of itself, not desire and thought, but aware of itself, observation, darsana, in that there is emptying of the mind and ending of time and sorrow. kāla dvana jab jnana prakasha badanta gorakh soi. What is the ending of time? That's what Gorakh is saying. Alak.